Vegas Rock Dog Radio. Pets, people, pop culture. Let's bring on the host, Sam, the queen of rock and roll dogs.
Hello everyone, I'm Sam, the queen of rock and roll dogs and host of Vegas Rock Dog Radio. On today's show, I'm talking about goat's milk, why adopting a pet this weekend is a great idea, and the elephant tourist business. So stay right there.
Vegas Rock Dog Radio. Pets, people, pop culture.
Good morning, everyone. It's Sam here, the queen of rock and roll dogs, and we're here for another Vegas Rock Dog Radio show. We're live from Las Vegas, and I've got Jim in studio today, and my two dogs, Miss Thornton, Mr. Twix, and Miss Galaxy's up in heaven, making sure we do our job right today. So welcome to the show. So glad you're here. Big hello to our regular listeners, and a big hello to anyone who's new today, tuning into the show for the first time. Jim, it's been a week.
It sure has. Seems like it was yesterday. Good morning to the lady.
The morning. The marker for how fast the week goes is when the show rolls around. And it's like, wow, a week just flew by. And every week is crazy around here. Big, busy time of year for us. Lots and lots of great pet events coming up because the weather cools down. Oh, while we're talking about weather, let's talk about the eclipse, Jim.
Eclipse. The Mitsubishi Eclipse.
It's called a Mitsubishi Eclipse?
No, that's the name of a car.
Oh, I was going to say, where did that come from?
Pop culture, there's a car named the Eclipse. So that's the pop culture bit of the show this morning.
What do you know about the eclipse?
I know that the moon gets in the way of the sun during the day. Your viewpoint, depending on where you are, means it looks like nighttime. But it's still a very dangerous time to look at the sun.
Yes.
It will burn your eyes.
And who else is it dangerous for?
Pets. And wildlife. Wildlife are completely turned upside down.
Yeah?
They think it's night. They go into their, what the heck? I got to go back and I got to hunt or I have to hibernate depending on what kind of animal I am.
I know that feeling.
Yeah, you're going to go weird on the eclipse.
I would say,
sure you are.
I have that feeling often. Do you know what that is?
No.
When a cloud actually comes over in Vegas.
And you get
it's
sleepy.
Like, what the heck? It's the... Because we rarely see a cloud.
And what do you do? Go to sleep?
No, I go, what the heck? And then I get excited because I like it when it's cloudy. I can't complain about that. So, yes, the eclipse is coming on Monday. Where do they go for the information? NASA?
Oh, there's your local weather channel websites or local, news channels have all that information posted. I mean, it's everywhere. This is a big deal. I think I remember the last one. I think it was 1979. I know I was a kid because we went outside during the eclipse because it was monumental. And apparently another one's not going to happen for, 30 or 40 more years or 100 years. It's crazy like that. But it just so happens it's like they know exactly how the planets and the moons and all of those things move now. They have all the science down. So they know exactly where you're going to have 100% eclipse.
Who's going to have 100%?
Well, the path looks like it's going from the Pacific Northwest down to Georgia. It's like a diagonal across the country here in the States.
Right.
I don't know where it's going to happen in the rest of the world, but I know people from all over the world apparently are coming here just to be along the path of the eclipse.
Aren't we lucky? I thought our percentage was something like 68%.
Yeah, we're not going to get a full one here because we're a little too far south of the path. I sound like a weatherman now.
You do sound like a weatherman.
Given the weather information.
We do have a few friends who are weathermen on TV, don't we?
Why we should have called a weatherman today.
Yeah, I should have called Les from Fox 5.
Or Kevin Janison. Yeah. We could have had somebody on the show today.
Yeah, it just, I'll be honest with you.
We had a great weatherman years ago. John Fredericks, that was a pet lover.
He passed away.
Yeah, sadly.
He did. He passed away. He often took his dog on TV, didn't he?
He was a weatherman, and his dog was part of the weather, yeah.
Oh, that dog
Jordan.
was everything. That dog was everything to him. Everything to him. Yeah, so I haven't paid that much attention to it, other than the fact that I'll make sure my dogs are inside, and I'll try not to drive anywhere. I'm not bothered about looking up at the sun anyway. You've got to wear the special glasses, and make sure you've got the ones that are safe, because there's some counterfeits out there that are going to burn your retinas if you use them. So make sure it's something that's approved.
Or you could put on a welder's face mask too. I guess that would work.
Is that the right?
Then you look
protection?
A welder's face mask protects from the rays of hot welding torches, like the sun.
Is that?
Yeah.
Oh, I've not been that bothered.
Okay.
I'll be honest with you. I'll just keep my pets inside. I think I'm actually driving to a meeting at that time, so what will happen?
Make sure all the curtains are closed in the house, because you don't want them looking outside,
thinking
they're looking in the dark.
I know. Then you think about all the wildlife out there.
The wildlife knows.
Oh. Well, I think pets, though, in general, they don't look at the sun anyway. I've never seen my dogs look up at the sun, ever. But keep them safe. Keep them inside. It's the best way. And then, take some pictures and share your pictures with us. It's hard, isn't it, to take pictures of like eclipsi? How would you pluralize that?
Eclipsers.
No. It's hard to take a picture of the moon. It looks so big on your phone or your camera, and when you look at it, it's a dot. And you're just so excited about how impressive it looks with the naked eye that you get so disappointed. You need to be a real photographer to get those great shots. Well, now we've done our little safety tip for the eclipse. Like I said, thank you for being here on the show today. Lots to talk about. We've got some nutrition ideas for you to incorporate into your pet's diet. And it's a big weekend throughout the country, because it's Clear the Shelters weekend. Very, very exciting. Before we get onto any of that stuff, this is how you're going to connect with us on the internet in other areas. Our main website is vegasrockdogradio.com. You can just go straight there, click listen live, or listen to the archive shows. We will pop up on Periscope. We, of course, are on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Tumblr, Instagram, and we have a blog. The blog is therockandrolldog.com. We have an app, and you'll go to yapp.us, yapp.us, and it's free. You download it, and then you download Vegas Rock Dog Radio onto your app. iTunes is where you're going to find the archive shows and our Pet Tip of the Day show, which is the very short show, little tips, very quick, learn lots of new things, save money, and we put lots of new, fresh information on those tips. And, of course, you can find us on iHeartRadio, on Spoke, which is Sirius XM's new podcast app. And if you have another app that you use for podcast listening, just search Vegas Rock Dog Radio and you will find us. It's rather easy. Well, a couple of things happened the other night. Jim was not witness to it, but I was videoing one of them while it happened. I didn't know it was going to happen, but Jim was playing his show. And Mr. Twix, every night, funny half hour. I think lots of people's pets have a funny half hour at night, or the zoomies, as some people like to call it. And shoes are his thing. He loves shoes, so he is flying up and down, and he looks like Scooby-Doo. The legs are going so fast, it's a blur. He's just so happy in entertaining himself with his shoes, and he's running up and down and up and down, and he body slammed into the sofa at one point. So excited. And I thought, I'll video him because he's very funny. So I'm videoing him, and he runs in really fast, and he jumps on the couch with the shoe, and he smacks me right in the face with the shoe. So the video is actually on my Instagram account, Vegas Rock Dog. Go over there, have a look, have a good laugh. Even I laugh about getting smacked in the face with a shoe. Have you ever been smacked in the face with a shoe by a dog?
Isn't that an insult in like 20 countries?
Oh, it is. To hit someone with a shoe, yes, is quite the insult. I wasn't so insulted. I actually laughed, but he did smack me square in the face, and I happened to be videoing it. Now, on that night, well, of course, he does his usual jumping up on the dining room table. His legs are 2 inch long. He can get up there. He doesn't need anything to climb onto. So there's really no stopping him, because who knows what he does when we're not home. So he's on the table having a good old explore around. And then he jumps down. And the next thing I know, I can hear this. He's playing with something. It's making a lot of noise. I thought, uh-oh. Now, I don't know if I've mentioned this on the show before, but I love gardening. I love to garden. And in particular, I love succulents.
That's your plant du jour.
That is my plant du jour. Well, apparently that night it was Mr. Twix's plant du jour of the nuit, the night. I don't know. Is that correct? Is it?
I don't know.
Well, that night he decided he would jump on the couch, and never done this before, but I'm going to drag some succulents down, and I'm going to empty them out all over the house with soil, all over the furniture, all over the floor, all over the dog beds, just so that I can have the plastic plastic container.
He loves to have a plastic.
He likes the
container.
sound of plastic on the floor, on the hardwood floor, because they're sometimes hard for him to get hold of. So when they spring out of his mouth and they clatter across the floor, he loves it, and he gets to chase them because they go flying. He particularly likes plastic glasses cases too. Loves them because he can't quite get hold of them.
And he likes your shoes.
He does, but he has my shoes graduate when it goes to, when he's then chewed something. Then I give him the shoes, and they're his shoes, and he has quite a few, doesn't he, Jim?
Yeah, he goes crazy. He's like lightning. He's like a blurry Sasquatch.
So mini Sasquatch smacked me in the face with a shoe and wrecked my succulents, and it was everywhere. It was everywhere. Seriously, how can one little dog really spread that much soil around my house? But he is a little comic, isn't he, Jim?
Oh, crazy.
And so that was my update this week. Anything I need to know from you, Jim? Because I feel like I haven't seen you all week anyway.
No, I just pretty much did my usual thing this week. Did I do anything exciting?
No.
I can't remember. We got out this morning, the three of us, for our morning routine, Saturday morning walk routine, and the weather was really quite nice. It's cooled down in the morning.
It has,
this
hasn't
week,
it?
So
It's really lovely.
we got out, and they were interested in sniffing and running in wet grass and all kinds of stuff.
Well, it's a great weekend this weekend for a lot of animals in the shelters and in these rescues. Do you know why?
Nope, I need you to tell us.
Today is Clear the Shelters Day, but it lasts all weekend. And you're going to find free or very, very drastically reduced adoption fees. It's a nationwide push to get animals adopted, get them out of these shelters, and the results are phenomenal. I think last year it was 50,000.
Wow.
50,000. We hope it's more than that. Very, very exciting. Our local, well, we have 2 shelters out here, city shelters, by the way, and they've got all kinds of great stuff going on. And local businesses that we're friends with, the pet stores that we partner with, they're offering all kinds of great things. For example, Wags and Whiskers in Henderson are offering an adoption packet, and it comes with treats and all kinds of fun stuff. So all you have to do is, once you've adopted your pet, is you head on over to Wags and Whiskers, and they're going to give you this new adoption packet. And it's a great store, by the way, carrying wonderful foods. And they've got a fantastic bakery, and they're going to have a wellness center. They're very newly opened, so you're going to really enjoy that store. It feels very community-based. Donna, the owner, was telling me you're going to be able to go in and have a free coffee and a free tea. We were sat at the bakery bar yesterday like we were in a bar.
Wow.
It's really fun, wonderful atmosphere in there, and so helpful, and coming from such a lovely place of loving animals and wanting to provide you with the best food and treats and toys that she can find. So check in your area As I say, it's either going to be free adoptions or drastically reduced adoptions, and then also see who wants to give you a little treat for doing that. And then we'll update how many adoptions happened nationally. But last year it was 50,000. We need more than that. I'm always one of those, let's better that, let's raise more money than we did on this last time. And so that is the goal of Clear the Shelters Day.
That's excellent.
It is.
So if they got 50,000 last year, do they follow up on that, like, and make sure that, hey, a lot of dogs got adopted out this day, and then they didn't have a lot of returns, so the dogs ended up in a good way? Or is there stats? You love stats.
I love stats. There has to be stats, but you will find a lot of shelters do not want to give you their stats. They do not want to give you return rates, and we all know this. Most shelters do not do home inspections. So you are going to, the odds of it being a perfect home are going to reduce slightly because of that. Private, small rescues do the home inspections just to make sure it's the perfect home, the perfect people, a safe home, and that way they're more successful. And returns are much, much lower. But a lot of them do not want to. They just don't want to give you the stats.
Well, they're still better off taking a chance in a home than they are staying in the shelter.
Sitting in a shelter,
it's still a benefit.
I absolutely agree with you, 100%. So hopefully it'll go beyond the 50,000. Here's my thing: if you make such an amazing effort for this weekend, then I would like to see all the shelters keep that same level of effort all year round. Don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agree.
If you can do it on this weekend, you can do it on all days. So we'll keep you updated on that. I'm very, very excited to see all these new pets end up in new homes. Not new pets. Well, they're new pets for the new pet parents. Come into their homes, be part of the family. Wonderful, wonderful. Well, on that note, let's take a quick break, Jim. And then we're going to talk about rescue retail. We're going to talk about goat's milk and elephants and other great stuff. So stay right there. We are listening to Vegas Rock Dog Radio with me, Sam, your host, the Queen of Rock and Roll Dogs.
Vegas Rock Dog Radio. Pets, people, pop culture.
At Carl's Jr., not only do we make you happy with our delicious charbroil burgers, we also make your dogs happy. Come through our drive-thru with your furry friends and we'll offer them a treat. We love to see their smiling faces. Our website, carlsjroflasvegas.com, has a treat in store for its customers too, with free coupons anytime, so visit us often. Carl's Jr. is a proud and active supporter of animal adoption in our community. You can find us at carlsjroflasvegas.com.
Pet Scene Magazine is dedicated to Las Vegas pets and the people who love them. It's a source of news and information for pet lovers, as well as offering valuable coupons and specials on pet products and services. Find them online at www.lvpetscene.com or look for them on Facebook.
Vegas Rock Dog Radio. Pets, people, pop culture.
Welcome back, everyone. You're listening to Vegas Rock Dog Radio with me, Sam, your host, the Queen of Rock and Roll Dogs. You can find our show on any social media platform. Just search Vegas Rock Dog Radio or Vegas Rock Dog, and there will be. What were you going to say, Jim?
I was just waiting for you. I thought you were prompting me to join in.
Oh.
on any is a good way of talking about where you can be found online, because I remember you would string together all of these platforms and it can be a blur.
Well, we already did it at the top of the show.
Yeah, so
we like to remind people, because sometimes
any equals many.
Yes, that's right.
Any is many.
You know what I do like right now? And I don't even use it to communicate with a soul. I like making the videos on Snapchat. I like to make the videos of Jim.
You just like the cartoony features.
I love it. I absolutely love it. I wish I could run around.
You can use yourself for hours.
I wish I could run around with those filters myself in real life. That would be amazing. They make your eyes look good and your skin look good and your eyelashes always look good on those Snapchat
they
filters.
give you tiger's ears and...
The butterfly videos are the best that we did. They were really funny. I'm just looking at my sister's Facebook page, my twin sister, Serena, and one of her dogs is Buddy. He's a beagle, Buddy Boo. Buddy is so funny. You know, he sits like a human. He sits on his bottom looking out the window.
He's a very interesting little boy.
I love him. He's sweet, though. He's a very sweet dog. But he did come from an abused situation. And he's come leaps and bounds. But he sure likes to be on the back of the sofa or on the arm watching people go by outside the window. And that's the photograph that I'm looking at right now. He's so cute. He's such a cute boy. Ah, that's cute. Right, so let's talk about rescue retail. I actually talked to a few people about this week, and they thought, well, what do you think rescue retail is, Jim?
I'm not sure. Is it the rescues selling things to go with your dogs?
That's what most people think it is.
That's what it sounds like. It sounds like, oh, I got a rescue dog, and then the rescue sold me these other things so that I can have my house set up.
Nope.
Really?
That's not what it is. Rescue
Was
retail.
that what am I thinking like most people think?
Most people think that way.
Huh.
It's actually not very good, not very nice when I'm going to tell you exactly what it is. Rescue retail is a growing problem in the rescue world. Rescues or shelters get their dogs from puppy mills and adopt, I'm doing my air quote, adopt, but they're really selling them. Yeah.
What?
So that, yes, it happens. They also will sell dogs that are, full. If a full-bred dog comes in, or a full-bred puppy comes in, puppies in particular, as puppies bring in a lot of money, they will also do a backdoor sale for big money. So that means they won't promote those animals, but they do have a list of people they'll contact and say, we've got puppies, and that puppies are $1,500.
Whoa.
Yes.
It's like black market.
It is. Oh, yes. There are people that work with animals who do not care about animals.
Is it legal?
Do you know, I'm not sure if it's legal or not. Morally, it's not right, is it? When you're saying we save animals, and then you tell people this is an animal that needs a home desperately. It was brought in, it was found on the street, and it wasn't. So there's deception there as well. But we have to understand this. Not everyone that works with animals loves animals. We've got to get people to understand this. I mean, think about this.
We've seen that in the zoos and the animal attraction type businesses.
When you see there's abuse goes on. Some people don't really love animals, but they will still work amongst animals. Think about this. Pedophiles try to get jobs around kids. And often people who hate animals and like to abuse animals will try and get jobs around animals. And we must be I think we shouldn't be brainwashed into thinking, yeah, but no, that doesn't happen because they won't work with animals if they didn't love them. That's not the case. It's just not the case. You have people in all kinds of areas of animal care, whether it's dog walking, whether it's being a veterinarian. And for a lot of people, even though they might not be abusing them, it's a job, and they go home at night, and that's that. And then you have people that this is their life's passion to work with animals. But let's not be naive into thinking that everybody loves animals. And I think this is one of those things that's kind of shocking when I told people about this, what rescue retail is, and even they're in rescue and said, what? That's because they would never do that. It would never enter their heads. But it is a growing problem. They're seen as a big, big money maker. Big money maker. People are going into rescue, I'll tell you this right now, to make money. People are going into rescue to make money. They take donations, and they don't post many dogs. Or they post dogs that came from a puppy mill or a breeder. Yeah? Yeah, scary.
Well,
No reputable breeder is going to do that, so just say puppy mill or a backyard breeder. But the full-bred dogs are very appealing. So that's why they do that, and they bring lots and lots of money in, and often they will sell out of the back door, as we say. What needs to happen is some regulation. Regulation is required to see where these dogs and cats are coming from. For example, if there was some kind of oversight, and they come in and they say, okay, you've documented that you've brought in 100 dogs, and you've adopted out 100 dogs, yeah? Is that 50% of them came from the shelter? Did 10% come from the street? Did 40% come from a breeder or a puppy mill? And often they're coming from out of state as well. This is where the oversight needs to happen. I think that's really, really important that we have some regulation. You're working with animals. It's like working with kids. You've got to have regulation and oversight for their safety and not to be deceptive.
Yeah.
No one wants to be deceived. Could you imagine if you thought you were saving a life and then you find out it came from a puppy mill? Oh my gosh. I'd be in jail.
Well, you thought you were doing the right thing, and then you realized that you were a cog in the wheel of the problem.
Yes.
But you're still saving an animal that already is living.
No, you're not,
but you're
though.
perpetuating the problem.
But you're not saving then. You're not saving. You are solely funding that operation. You are solely funding. Because whatever people say, I'm saving, it will continue.
But what do you do then?
Demand.
That animal then, what do you do? Just take it off the person and say, I'm taking this animal because this animal...
How do you just take an animal?
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. Like, so even... It's terrible because, like, say a person goes and gets that animal from this puppy person and the animal came from a puppy mill. Well, that animal still needs a home to go to. You know what I mean? And how does that animal also get to eventually to a home so that you're not like you're perpetuating the problem, but you still need to deal with saving that animal.
But they're not going to give you an animal without money.
I know.
They're not, Jim. They are not going to give you an animal without money. That's the whole point why they're in this business. It says, well, there's this article, and I want to read it for you. It was in the Albany Times-Union. And basically the headline is rescue organizations will no longer be able to run free, with many pet dealers, that's the word, becoming not-for-profit shelters. See how it goes? So it works two different ways. You're either an existing shelter or a rescue, and you decide this is how you want to make money. Or you say, I'm going to make money, and I'm going to masquerade as a rescue or a shelter. Horrible, isn't it? Yeah. And so now the state I'm going to say this is New York, so let me pull up this article. The state will now force them to register. I'm all for that. I am all for that. Let me find this article link. Oh, here it is. Oh, that's strange. Oh, it didn't update on my iPad. I've got another new iPad. For some reason, that did not update my show notes. Crazy. Here we go. So this is Albany. Animal welfare advocates are cheering passage of a law they say will help keep an eye on nearly 500 rescue shelters around the state that currently operate without any scrutiny and in some instances may be running de facto puppy mills. For too long, unscrupulous pet dealers have avoided proper oversight and placed the health of pets under their care at risk in the name of profits. And this was a quote by Governor Andrew Cuomo. He said in announcing passage of this measure, and it was sponsored by the Long Island GOP State Senator Phil Boyle and Rockland County Democratic Assemblyman Keith Zebrowski. This legislation closes this loophole, he said. Yes, yes, yes. The new law requires animal shelters, rescue organizations, and other not-for-profit entities that offer animals for adoption to register with the Department of Agriculture and Markets. That agency can then conduct regular inspections to make sure animals are being properly cared for. Under the new law, not-for-profit shelters will have to pay a $100 annual fee. That's pathetic. $100.
Wow.
It's not much of a fee, is it?
Nope. No.
Here's the thing. Here's with the low fee. Yeah, I think in their head they think, oh, it's a low fee, so everybody will register. It's so low, people aren't going to take it seriously anyway and still won't register. So they need to up that, make it serious. This is a serious fee you need to pay to be registered. The bill addresses what has become a troubling trend over the past few years in which people register their organizations as not-for-profits, but then acquire animals like cats or dogs and illicitly sell them to pet stores or put them up for adoption, often collecting fees or donations in the process. Not often, always. Always. Because they have gone from retail to not-for-profit status, they avoid being subject to the state inspections. So that's where the loophole is. Not-for-profits avoid compliance with health or agriculture and markets law, said Bill Ketzer, Director of Legislation with the ASPCA. There are so many rescue organizations out there, nobody has an idea what they are doing. It's true. I will agree. I'm in the middle of this in Las Vegas and Henderson, North Las Vegas. I'm in the middle of this, and it's true. And it's the one thing I've been talking about for a very, very long time. We need legislation. We need requirements for you to even set up a rescue. As it is now, you can willy-nilly set up a rescue. It's not good enough when you're handling animals and the welfare of these animals. It is not good enough, and we do need to make sure that we can get some oversight going. It's scary what goes on in rescue. There are wonderful people in rescue that I work with. Amazing. They've committed their lives to this, and they do, I think, impact the quality of their own lives in order to improve the quality of animals because they love and care for them so much, and this is their life's work. But there are other rescues who, one, I still to this day don't know who they are, who's running them. I never see a face. They never reveal who they are, and there's so much anonymity.
You never see them out at an event.
I don't understand it. I don't know why there's anonymity. Has anyone else? If you're in rescue and you're in a different state than us, we're in Nevada. Let me know. Are you experiencing the same thing where there are these rescues and you have no clue who's running them? Because I don't like that. I like to know who I'm dealing with, build relationships, and it always makes me feel very uncomfortable when I don't know who I'm dealing with. It bothers me immensely. And here's the thing. As you know, with the charitable work we do, we're very, very visible. People know who we are. We're very transparent, and we share everything that we've done to help these animals. I think that's important in itself. But to not know who you're dealing with, don't like it. Anyway, he said, indeed, the number of licensed pet dealers has dropped from 400 5 years ago to just over 200. That's in their state. That's still a lot. Many of those new minted not-for-profits still get puppies from the same breeders they used prior to switching over. While some shelters are well established, others have drawn controversy for offering sick puppies for adoption or rapidly flipping animals. That's another thing that they do. They have also been other cases where people begin sheltering animals but don't realize how much work is involved, and the animals end up suffering as a result. Oh, yeah. Remind me to tell you a little conversation I had with someone. We have rescue groups who are well-meaning people who get overwhelmed and they turn into hoarding cases, said Libby Post. She's the executive director at the State Animal Protection Federation. It's true. It's a big commitment in your life, a big commitment. And if you go into it without experience, without money, without a budget set up in the first place, you will have a tough time. And then your emotions take over and you just keep taking more animals and you don't have the money, and then you're in a horrible situation. You have to know how to control your rescue. You have to know when you say, we have a hold on intake right now until we can get our medical bills down or until we can raise more money for the next batch of animals to come in. You have to do rescue in a responsible way. They also said we'll be able to see what the playing field is. Yeah, you'll get a really good idea who's out there and what they're doing. Very, very good article. There was a lady online, I'm in a group, and she said, she loves animals. She's fostered here and there, and she wanted to do open a rescue, and just do it as a part-time thing. That's the bit that got me, was the part-time bit.
Yeah, doesn't work that way, I don't think.
So, but sometimes you just don't know what you don't know. And so, what I said to her...
Maybe she could be a foster.
She was a foster here and there. Here's what I suggested, and this is what I suggest to anyone that wants to get involved in animal welfare in general, but in particular if you want to start your own rescue, or, I think it's harder when you run it out of your home, trust me, because you're never going to escape it. Best Friends up in Kanab, Utah, not far from us, wonderful organization. Their mission is to save them all. They have a conference every single year. In fact, would you look up where it is for next year, Jim? They have a conference every single year. And this is something that if you are in animal welfare, you want to start a rescue, that's where you should go. Go to the conference. They do a lot of stats, Jim. Lots of tracking.
That's your kind of conference.
Lots of research on everything, including... basically, they say, this is how you're going to set up your rescue like a business. You're going to run it like a business to be successful. It's important that you run it as a business. Then they cover welfare issues. They even cover marketing. They cover social media. They cover the types of social media and the types of marketing that works, that gets people on board. For example... the Sarah McLachlan song that's now ruined and everybody turns the ad off or they turn the volume down. It doesn't work. Trying to almost guilt people into donating doesn't work. People want to see positive marketing pieces, positive. Your money can do this for this dog. And so that it's the conference you should go to. Where are they holding it next year, Jim?
This year, next year, July 19th to 21st is in L.A.
Oh, LA people.
July 19th to 21st, 2018, Los Angeles.
West Coast people. And you know what? Who doesn't want to go to LA for a conference? You can make a trip of it.
Yeah, it's right at bestfriends.org. It's on their homepage. So
the great thing is, she didn't know about it, and two, she says, "Oh my gosh, that's exactly what I need to go to." And I said, "Absolutely," and it will give you such a good foundation. And also, it'll help you decide whether you actually want to do that or whether you want to work with animals in a slightly different capacity that maybe won't take your whole life away from you, because rescue does. It does. As I say, lots of friends of mine run rescues, own rescues, and their commitment is 100%, but it's a lot of work, and it's a lot of sacrifice. You sacrifice your quality of life to improve theirs. It's a wonderful thing, though, I will say. I have some incredible friends I have lots and lots of admiration for. So that's the rescue retail part of it. So it's not the fun stuff where you buy stuff for your pets. It's how they're actually doing business, or they're coming from a place of, yeah, let's become a non-profit. And basically it's defrauding the public, isn't it? It's saying we're this, but we're really not behind the scenes. And it's a moneymaker. Well, and we do need to keep on top of it, and legislation is one of those ways to do it. Wonderful, wonderful. Well, Jim, let's take one more quick break, because we have to talk about goat's milk.
Great.
We have to talk about goat's milk. We have to talk about elephants. And I think that's about it. So stay right there. Don't go away. We're going to talk more. You're listening to Vegas Rock Dog Radio. With me, Sam, your host, the Queen of Rock and Roll Dogs.
Vegas Rock Dog Radio. Pets, people, pop culture.
Welcome to Barking Dog Self-Washing Grooming, your one-stop shop for all your pet's needs. We offer premium natural pet foods, full-service grooming, and an on-site bakery and boutique. You can choose to self-wash your dog or schedule a luxury pampering with our professional groomers. Visit our Cool Cat section offering feline food, toys, bedding, and litter, while the adventurous dog department has everything you need for your outdoor activities. And don't forget Cody's Healing Garden, featuring flower, aromatherapy, and herbal remedies for pets. Find us at www.barkingdogslv.com, and we look forward to seeing you in our neighborhood.
Vegas Rock Dog Radio. Pets, people, pop culture.
Hello, everyone. You're listening to Vegas Rock Dog Radio. In studio is Mr. Jim and myself, of course, and Thornton and Mr. Twix. They have a very busy Saturday morning every weekend, and
it's hard work for them.
They come in the studio and then just flop out and go to sleep. And they're very, very good. People ask me, how do you do a show with pets in your studio? Easy. Make sure they've been on a walk. I don't care, though, if they bark or if Mr. Twix jumps on my studio desk. I don't care. It doesn't bother me in the slightest. He's fun. If you want to see him in action with the shoe smack in the face to me, go over to Instagram. You'll also see a very cute picture of Miss Thornton on her, well, we usually have triple stack, 3 dog beds stacked on top of each other. They're very big. And she likes to be high up, but we're washing the beds, so we've stacked them up, and there are 5 of them, and they're massive. And she was on the top of them last night, like Princess and the Pea. So how cute was she on that picture?
Excellent, she was.
She's a cute little girl.
She's a good little girl. She loves her comfort.
We call her Supreme Comfort Dog. She will get comfortable she doesn't matter. She kick you out the way. She must get comfortable. Well, Jim, let's talk about Toby. Tell everyone what our friend Toby did.
Our friend Toby in the UK loves animals, and he's a avid cyclist. I would say more than an avid. He's not a professional cyclist per se that he races, but he is a
long distance cyclist.
A long distance touring cyclist, and he did a tour from England through France to Spain to raise money and awareness for the plight of the galgos in Spain.
Galgos del Sol and Hounds Trust in the UK. So he was benefiting two charities, one in the UK, one in Spain, and he ended up with a cycling partner, Andy, who unfortunately got sick for a couple of days, bless him. But they're this great team of people that went with him to make sure that they were, I guess nutrition was a huge part of this, to keep up on the nutrition. So they had the energy, and they were doing on average, what, was it 100 miles a day?
100-mile days, 80 to 100-mile days. Unbelievable.
I want to say he was out there 12 days. We followed every video, every photo. We shared it. It was just brilliant. I mean, brilliant. And he said when they were coming up through France towards Spain,
they were in the mountains.
They were in the mountains, and the one video, and I think it was Karen was crying because she was videoing it. She said, it's been hard for them today. These mountain climbs have been really, really rough. And and what Toby had said was, you know what? What's got me up these mountains is thinking the suffering that these dogs, you know, the abuse and that they've suffered at the hands of these hunters, and the caring hands of the people that saved him is what got him up that mountain. And he used an analogy when he was on my show, and we'll post a link to his show, you can listen to it again, where he said these dogs progress step by step by step by step, and we don't expect to rush them. We don't expect to get from A to Z really, really quickly. He said, and that's how I'm going to do this ride, step by step by step.
I would have loved to have gone on that ride.
I think you should talk to Toby about that and ask him if he's going to do it again. I think it's something that you would love to be a part of. I'd love to be a part of it.
Well, I'd have to start training yesterday to be able to keep up with him. That's for sure.
Yeah. Incredible, isn't it? Training's kind of hard in Vegas when it's so hot. Well, you've got an indoor trainer now, haven't you?
I do, but it's boring.
Put some music on, Jim.
Yeah.
Watch the TV.
It's boring.
Actually, I want to see how that
works. Getting out on a bike and seeing the scenery is the joy.
I want to see how that works, though.
What, the trainer?
Yes.
I'll put your bike on it and you can go ride it.
Oh, I never realized I could put my bike on it.
Yeah.
But do you fall off?
No, because your bike is fixed to the trainer.
Oh, is that? I have no idea it works, and that's why I'm asking.
There you go. I'm going to set your bike up with the trainer.
Yeah,
and
do
you
it.
Can go ride
do it. I'm all for that, Jim. I'm all for that.
There you go.
So congratulations to Toby and Andy on completing that incredible tour through 3 countries, and they were greeted by the cycling team that Tina owns, Galgos del Sol in Spain, the shelter, and her kids are triathletes actually, and so she's heavily involved in the cycling scene, and the team was there to meet them and join them as they rode into the velodrome, and that was the end. They had a big party, and then they adopted a dog, and they flew back with their dog. I mean, it's just been, we've followed this journey for what, almost a year now?
Yeah.
Of preparation.
It was on the show about a year ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was around about that. So if you want to make a donation, you can actually go over to their page, Toby UK to Spain, Toby's UK to Spain. The link will be on there. It's a GoFundMe page, and you support incredible human beings. I want to be them when they grow up. 'Cause just incredible people. Well, I'm now moving on to, since we're talking about traveling a little bit, we're talking about going to other countries that offer elephant rides. In particular, Thailand. Thailand is a big one.
Oh yeah. We know people that have gone there.
I know, we do. And it's quite upsetting when you see your friends that you think they know better because you post things all the time on Facebook. Maybe they've got us unfollowed, I don't know. But you see them on elephants, taking selfies with elephants, riding them, taking selfies with tigers. And they don't know. I would say, I can't imagine any of our friends would know and then still do it. That I can't imagine. And the odd occasion that we have seen that, we've messaged them privately and said, hey, did you know that the abuse that these elephants suffer in order for you to ride them? And they don't know, do they, Jim? And they're mortified and really upset, and then they take the post down because they just can't believe they were a part of that. Now, just to give you some details, they always say they come from sanctuaries, they treat them really, really well. Well, they don't take you and show you what they do to them, so lots of people take it at face value. But these elephants are stolen from birth. So the minute they're born, they're taken away from their mothers. They never see their families again. and they have zero interaction with other elephants. They're a very social animal. They're a very social animal, and they're very strong family ties. So all that is ripped away from them, and you will see that they will sway. There's a lot of swaying. They're always chained up, but you'll see a lot of swaying. They will tell you, oh, they're dancing, but actually that is a sign of stress and distress, where they're just rocking from side to side. Absolutely heartbreaking. It is not dancing. And the training is called the training crush, and that is where they break their spirit until they submit and they obey. It involves beatings. It involves chaining them up. It involves starving them. It involves keeping them awake so they won't sleep. And it involves, of course, people jumping on their backs, almost like a corral that they have for bull riding. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's going to be another show for us too. You know, where it is isolated and they can jump on its back, and eventually its spirit is broken and it just gives up. And that is just horrific. And they use the bull hooks, so they do hurt them. They hurt them. They're abused, and they're not sanctuaries. So never take what they say to you at face value. And because this started to come to light, a lot of people reached out to these travel companies and said, how can you possibly promote animal cruelty? Well, a lot of them got hip to what was going on, did their own research, and to date, I think 160 tourist operations, you know, whether it's an airlines, because, you know, sometimes you can book a flight and trips at the same time, have ceased offering those
wildlife excursions.
Yeah, they've ceased all of that, and I think it's a wonderful step in the right direction. If you weren't aware of that yourself, now you know, and you can spread the word with other people. But what we're trying to say is stop taking selfish selfies to try and impress, because what you're showing is that you don't mind being part of cruelty, whether you know it or not. Because those who do know it's cruelty and see you post that on your social media just think you're a horrible person. And you may not know, but make sure that when you do anything with animals that you dig a little bit deeper. It's not hard to find information and find out, are they really a sanctuary? A true sanctuary will not sell a ticket for you to go even see them. That a sanctuary is where it's a sanctuary and they get to live out their lives. So if you're buying tickets and they're making money and you're feeding animals and you're riding them and photographs and paint with a tiger, paint with an elephant, those kind of things, it's not a sanctuary. They're making money off their backs. And we want those animals to live out their lives in peace because they come from abuse situations. So just dig a little deeper and stop taking those selfish selfies. Well, Jim, I think, oh no, my goat's milk. I got to do my goat's milk.
I can't wait to hear this one. Well, I'm not a milk drinker, everybody. So
yeah,
my milk is cashew milk and almond milk.
Right.
So
all right,
I don't prefer the taste of milk any longer.
Well, let me tell you about goat's milk.
I can't wait. I'm just salivating.
Did you know it's the most consumed milk in the world?
No.
Are you surprised?
Well, there's more goats around probably than there are cows.
I don't see more goats than cows, but I don't see any cows hardly out here.
in the other world.
In the other world, yeah. It's just not normal out here. It is the most consumed milk in the world. It's also known universally as mammalian milk. It doesn't sound right, does it? Mammalian milk. No doubt you've seen goat's milk in your supermarkets and in your pet stores these days because it's becoming popular for humans and pets. And there have been extensive studies done over the last 100 years. So these are not short little studies. They're 100-year-old continual studies. And cows and other species' milk has been studied and analyzed for its nutrients. So what protein, fat, and carbohydrates and micronutrients are in the goat's milk. And so we're talking about, protein, fats and carbohydrates. Lots of people don't realize there's carbohydrates in milk. Did you know that?
I didn't know that. I thought it was water and protein.
There you go. Now you know.
There's protein and carbohydrates.
And fat. Well, of course, there's fat, yeah. Research shows the basic composition or macronutrients in milk varies, and it does vary from species to species. So cat and dog milk, for instance, has a higher fat and protein content than the milk from species like cows and sheep. And there are differences in milk, and you will need to know what they are. Yep. why goat milk is a better choice. Let's talk about allergies.
We know all about that. Sorry, I was just swallowing some water.
Was it goat's milk?
No, I was taking a drink of water. And
Well, goat's milk is more digestible than other milks. And studies show that cow milk, which contains alpha S1 casein protein, likely to cause allergic reactions than goat milk, which contains extremely low or no amounts of this kind of protein. That's number one. The other one is that cow milk also contains different forms of the beta-lactoglobulin and alpha-lactalbumin proteins,
your big words
which
again.
have also been linked to allergic reactions. So goat milk is better tolerated than cow milk for other reasons than just the allergies, and that being less, with the allergies as being less allergenic. The smaller fat globules, oh, do I like that word? Fat globules.
Stop it.
Fat globules.
Weird.
I know, I love that word. But anyway, these smaller fat globules in goat milk and higher concentration of small and medium chain fatty acids, in addition to a looser curd formation, allow it to be digested more quickly and easily.
There you have it.
There you go.
Do they make goat yogurt?
Oh, I'm sure they do. Let's move on to lactose intolerance. Your friend, Jim, lactose.
Mm-hmm.
Adults can develop an intolerance for milk, and Jim did exactly that. How many years ago was that, Jim?
Oh, I don't even remember now. 10, 15.
And one of the findings is more and more people are becoming lactose intolerant as a result of increased milk pasteurization. So that's why you're seeing a rise there. And lactose is a milk sugar that requires the enzyme lactase to split it into simple sugars for easy digestion. Raw milk is rich in lactase enzyme, but pasteurization and heat destroy the lactase enzyme. So when you lack the lactase enzyme, you eliminate the ability for it to split into simple sugars for easy digestion. Does that make sense to you, Jim?
You sound like a rapper now, saying weird language.
No, you thought I was Maccabee.
My favorite nutrition expert.
What, your favorite nutrition rapper expert?
Reggae
rapper expert. I could have made that into a rhyme. But many people and pets who don't produce the lactase enzyme can't digest the pasteurized milk, but can digest raw milk without any problems. So that would be an option for you, Jim, an option. Fermented goat milk promotes good health. It is known as a complete food, and the Journal of American Medicine made that claim. It contains vitamins, minerals, electrolytes, trace elements, enzymes, protein, fatty acids, and it digests in 20 minutes.
You said that just like Maccabee would have said.
It's a star. It's a star food.
It's like eggs, right? Eggs are considered a complete food.
I think so, but that could be a marketing thing. You just don't know, do you, sometimes with these things. Due to the size of the fat molecules being 1/5 the size of those in cow's milk, that helps that digestion move so much more quickly.
Wow.
Yeah.
You have a lot of research on this.
Oh, I do.
On this goat thing.
I do. This is why it's a great choice for dogs with digestive issues. It's tolerable and not hard on the system. Now, raw goat milk is a source of probiotics. Probiotics are important for your pet's health, and those probiotics help chronic diseases. So this is where it becomes even more of a rock star in the world of nutrition for pets. It helps with liver disease, heavy metal poisoning, malnutrition, kidney disease, kidney stones, diabetes, GI disease, poor digestion, and diarrhea. So when it comes to diarrhea, stop with the whole rice thing, please. Please, just stop with the whole rice thing.
What the heck?
Oh, got everything. Chicken and rice for everything. Just stop with the chicken and rice, please. People, raw goat milk is going to help and have tons of benefits. So adding fermenting goat milk increases nutritional value of your pet's diet, hands down. Pause down. The fermentation process adds more probiotics which metabolize the lactose in milk and combine it with other nutrients to create the above health-supporting compounds. Despite being consumed for centuries, fermented milk and dairy foods. It's only now that they're embracing and understanding the benefits of this complete food. It's making a difference with what we call modern chronic illnesses, such as arthritis, irritable bowel syndrome, gastric ulcers, colitis, intestinal pathogens, and even brain disorders.
Wow.
I mean, we're dealing with things now that we never had 100 years ago.
Right.
But you can see how some of that stuff happens. Yeah, it's to do with diet. Diet's huge, absolutely huge. And I think we've changed what our pets eat now from what they ate a couple of centuries ago. Completely changed it. Not for the better. Not for the better as far as commercial food goes. But now people are looking back and looking on the research and going, well, what did we used to eat? And why were they so healthy? And why did they live longer? And we're going, sometimes it's good to go back.
Mm-hmm.
Yes? Sometimes it's good to go back. So here are some fun facts. Native peoples in about every country consume some type of fermented milk product, each with its own unique name, yet very similar in its composition. And some examples are lang milk in Sweden, dahi or chas in India, orhan in Greece, and skuta in Chile. Now, kefir, you will have seen kefir. It's a fermented milk drink. We've had kefir before.
I thought that was yogurt.
Well, yeah, you can have it. Yeah, it can make it out of that. Yeah, and it's really recently gained lots and lots of popularity.
Bitter.
Yeah, he's a little bitter. Yeah. Traditional Slavic people used a starter culture consisting of multiple strains of yeast and lactic acid bacteria added to either cow, goat, or sheep milk. The starter culture medium for kefir is often referred to as kefir grains because of its grainy, cauliflower-like appearance. Kefir grains were passed on from family to sustain the active cultures. And until the 1800s, most milk in America was consumed fermented, referred to as sour or clabbered milk. Clabbered, oh God.
Is that what buttermilk is? Is that part of that
Right,
family?
It might be. And we need to look into that, clabbered. I love that word too. It's a new one for me. And also cultured buttermilk. You were right. You were right.
That was a guess, though.
Now, sourcing is important. As with anything for yourself and for your pets, you've got to know where it's coming from. Is it the best quality? And goat milk has got to come from healthy goats. That's the first thing. They've got to be healthy. They need to be pasture fed on grass, low stress, and free of GMOs and antibiotics. Of course, we don't want that in any foods that we eat or our pets eat. And this provides a much better milk. Processing, such as pasteurization or spray drying, will also lower the nutritional value of milk. So read the carton. You can also get goat's milk dried, by the way. Fermented goat milk or kefir must be made from raw milk. Lactic acid bacteria thrives on unadulterated milk that hasn't been damaged by excessive heat. We all know heat breaks down nutrients in food. The probiotics in raw goat milk are also less likely to be destroyed by hydrochloric acid and bile salts in the digestive tract. Now, probiotics in pill and powder form won't have the same value because they can be destroyed. So if you can try and do your goat's milk for your pets, it's going to be far more beneficial. Now, the benefits are, we talked about what they actually cure, but the benefits are raw fermented milk can provide enzymes, probiotics, powerful antioxidants, essential fatty acids, concentrated vitamins like K2, and trace minerals in a live whole food form. And you can buy this from health food stores or online, or you can make your own milk kefir at home. I'm going to put a link up on how you can do that. You can buy the grains on sites such as Culture for Health, and if you take care of the culture, it should last indefinitely through the generations.
Or our probiotic capsules, are those
not as good? No.
They're not. You can't culture other things from those.
No. You need to do it from your raw. But making kefir from raw dairy products is ideal. But if you don't have access to raw dairy, you can use organic full-fat dairy, preferably from grass-fed animals. So I'm going to post a link for you if you want to make your own, and I will post a link as to where you can actually buy the kefir, the goat's milk, and your pets will like it. We need to get some for these two monkeys, but they've had it before and they really, really liked it, and we need to just then trade out our probiotics for live whole food. Yeah.
Maybe I'll get you a goat and you can have a goat.
I've been asking for a goat.
You don't have grass to feed it, though. You have fake grass.
I know. He probably would eat that, though. We had a goat growing up. Her name was Nanny. She ate everything. She would eat a plastic bag.
She ate your mother's hair.
She tried to eat my mother's hair. We used to let her in the house. That's why. So my mum would be watching TV, and we'd just make her come in to the living room quietly, just like push her through the door, and then just wait for her to eventually go up and behind my mom and frighten the living daylights out of her, and never bend down in front of you, goat, because they'll butt you right in the head. But she was fun. We loved her. I'll get one eventually. When I move house and get a big house and a big yard, I'll get baby goat. Okay. I'm fast. I need to find out why baby goats move the way they do. It's so erratic, but so cute. I need to find out why they move the way they move. It looks like they're out of control, and I kind of like that about them. Well, if you've liked today's show, as I said, we've jammed it full of great information for you. Everything we've talked about will go up as a link on our social media platforms. So no need to grab a pen during the show. You can always run over to our social media, or once we actually put this show up as a podcast, we put show notes underneath it to make life so much easier when you hear those things in the show that you go, I want to find out about that. And we put the links there. So remember, you can help an animal in need. Either rescue, adopt, donate, volunteer, or share their information. And rescue your next family member, especially on a weekend like this weekend where we are clearing the shelters. Replace the word shop with adopt, and be kind to all animals. It's been a good show today, Jim.
Has been indeed.
Fantastic.
You said lots of big, funny words.
I did. I got them all right. Yay. Well, today you have been listening to Vegas Rock Dog Radio, where it's all about pets, people, and pop culture. And I'm your host, Sam, the queen of rock and roll dogs. Always kiss your pets good morning and good night. And I'll see you next time.
You've been listening to Vegas Rock Dog Radio. Pets, people, pop culture.
Visit Vegas Rock Dog Radio for more information. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And subscribe on iTunes and iHeartRadio. And remember, give your fur babies a big kiss from me, Sam, the queen of rock and roll dogs. You must not rely on the information in this broadcast from our hosts as an alternative to medical advice from your veterinarian. If you have any specific questions about a medical matter regarding your pets, you should consult your veterinarian or specialist.